Hi students, this is lecture number 9 in the morphology of flowering plants. I was telling you about angiosperm and their morphology we have been seeing. In the morphology of a typical angiosperm, we come across root, stem, leaf, flower, fruit like that various parts. I think in the previous lecture we started about the leaf here. You may recall a leaf will be having three basic points in it. Namely, there is a base of the leaf originating from the axillary bud. This is called a leaf base. There will be a stalk-like structure called petiole. You may recall. Petiole will give rise to a broad green color portion called lamina also. This is the structure of a simple leaf. In the lamina, there will be extension of the petiole as the midrib. You may be remembering. This stalk is called petiole. This is called as base. Remember, this is called base. This is known as lamina, and here vein, otherwise midrib is present. Midrib is present here. This one is known as vein. If any branches are there, it is called veinlets, we can say. So it is a typical type of leaf structure. In the previous lecture, I told you about venation also, you may recall. Arrangement of veins and veinlets in the lamina of the leaf is called venation. That venation can be of two types. Reticulate venation and parallel venation, you may recall. Reticulate venation will be network-like in manner. Example, I told you ficus leaf or dicot leaves. All dicots will exhibit reticulate venation mainly. And parallel venation is found in monocot leaves, you may recall. In monocots, parallel venation is present. They are arranged parallel to each other. Okay, that is regarding venation. Let me come to another aspect in today's class. Types of leaf I have to tell you here. Types of leaves. In angiosperms, we can come across two major types of leaves actually. One type of leaf is called as simple leaf, we can say. One is called as simple leaf, remember. From the name itself, you can understand this point. In the case of simple leaf, how to define the word simple leaf means? One petiole contains one lamina means it is known as what is that? Simple leaf, remember. One petiole having one lamina is called simple leaf. How we tell one family, one child, simple family like that. Here one petiole having one lamina only. Lamina is the broad green colored flattened part of the leaf. So one petiole having one lamina is called as a simple leaf. This is the diagram for the simple leaf, I can say. So this is the simple leaf. Example, even hibiscus leaf you might have seen. Ficus leaf, that Alamara we are telling, Bengalensis, like the people tree, like that. They have this simple leaf. Very simple. They have one lamina, one petiole, one lamina only. In some cases, imagine, it is somewhat difficult to understand. Try to listen. Imagine this point. There is one leaf having lamina like this. Now in some cases what happens means, the lamina of the leaf will be cut into different parts like this. They will exhibit some cuts here and there like this over the lamina. These cuts are called as incisions. we are telling. Incisions refers to what? Cut of the lamina or making the cut in the lamina is called incision. Do you get my point? In this simple leaf, imagine there will be some cuts in the lamina. Imagine now, if the cuts are going up to the midrib and joining here, if the cut is very deep, incisions are very deep and they join like this up to the midrib. Imagine if they proceed like this up to the midrib, what will happen? Same leaf will be appearing like this. This is the petiole. But here and all, you will come across many young leaves like this. Is it or not? Same leaf only, but you will be getting many units because of incisions or cut made here. Such a leaf having one petiole, many lamina. Do you get my point? One petiole, many lamina will be called as a compound leaf, we can say. Simple leaf, compound leaf. Simple leaf will have one petiole, one lamina. But a compound leaf will have one petiole. Okay. But what is that? Many lamina will be present. Those lamina will be, need not be broad like this. These lamina need not be bigger, flattened like that. They will be smaller lamina. Such small lamina will be otherwise known as leaflet, we can say. It is one leaflet, this is one leaflet, so they are called leaflets, remember. This is the petiole, this is the base, leaf base, and lamina has become what? Cut into many units. So each small unit of this leaf is called a leaflet. Now what is a compound leaf? One petiole having many lamina or one petiole having many leaflets are called compound leaf. Do you understand my point? Simple leaf may undergo some cut or incisions. If the incisions are very deep, we will get many small leaflets over that surface. Please remember, this complete thing is one leaf. It has got base, petiole and leaflets. Now what about this one? How will you call it? Midrib. We should not use the word midrib here. This is called as rachis of the leaf, we can say. Or rachis of the leaf, it can be called. So petiole will be extending into midrib in which leaf? Simple leaf. In compound leaf, we do not use the word midrib. Instead of that, what we do? We use the word rachis here. Do you understand my point? There are two major types of leaves. Simple leaf, compound leaf. Simple leaf will have one petiole, one lamina. Compound leaf will have one petiole, many lamina. Those many lamina are arranged over rachis. Do you rachis? It is arranged. This is the petiole, this is the base. This is the complete leaf called compound leaf, not simple leaf. Okay, these are the two major types of leaves. Let me come to another point here. In the case of a compound leaf, we can come across two more types actually. I am now talking about types of compound leaf. In simple leaf, there are no much type. For simple leaf, what are the example? One petiole, one lamina. Ficus, you can write. Or hibiscus, you can write. These are all simple leaf. For compound leaf, there are two types. Two types of compound leaves I am going to discuss. One type of compound leaf is called as pinnately compound leaf. It can be called pinnately compound leaf. What is the pinnately compound leaf? There will be a stem like this. There will be a node. From the node leaf base, petiole will become the rachis because it's a compound leaf. Over the rachis, if leaflets are present on both sides. Here there is one leaflet, another leaflet, a third one, fourth one, like this. Leaflets are present like this. Then it is called a pinnately compound leaf. On the sides of the rachis, leaflets are present. That is known as a pinnately compound leaf. Another type of compound leaf is palmately compound leaf. We have to remember. Palmately compound leaf. Try to get the difference between these two types. Pinnately compound, palmately compound. What happens in the palmately compound leaf? Here also there will be stem, nodes, and there will be leaf base extension like this. But in the rachis, leaflets are not present on the sides, but leaflets are arranged on the tip like this, like our fingers. As we have palm and fingers, here leaflets are arranged in this manner. So, do you understand the difference between these two diagrams? In the first diagram, leaflets are arranged on sides of rachis. What is rachis? It is the midrib of a compound leaf. In simple leaf, you can use the word midrib. But in compound leaf, it will be modified into rachis. On both sides of the rachis, if you find leaflets, it is called pinnately compound. Here, tip of the rachis. If tip of the rachis alone contains leaflet, then it is called palmately compound leaf. You can remember best example for pinnately compound leaf, neem leaf. Is it or not? Neem tree has got, neem plant has got pinnately compound leaf. You could have observed the neem leaf, or even we can say coriandrum, or not coriandrum. This is a neem tree, no? It has got pinnately compound leaf. Even that drumstick like that, they all have this pinnately compound leaf. On the sides of the rachis, there will be arrangement of leaflets. Where do we find palmately compound leaf? Palmately compound leaf is found in plants like Alstonia, we can say. Alstonia. That is exhibiting palmately compound leaf actually. So, do you understand the difference between two types of leaves? Simple leaf, compound leaf. In compound leaf, there are two types, pinnately compound, palmately compound. In pinnately compound, neem is the example. For palmately compound, Alstonia is the example for this. Okay, that is types of leaf. What is simple leaf? One petiole, one lamina. What is compound leaf? One petiole, many lamina. How many lamina are formed? Due to incisions. If the incisions are very deep, we will get small lamina. Those lamina, small lamina are called what? Leaflets. That arrangement of leaflets can be either on the sides or at the tip of the rachis. If it is on the sides of the rachis, it is neem tree, pinnately compound. If it is at the tip of the rachis, it is palmately compound. Example, Alstonia. Please make note, we will come to another point of the leaf. Okay, students, can go through the textbook also. These terminologies are given in detail in your textbook. Let us go to next aspect related to the leaf. I have already told you about root. and the stem also. Now we started about the leaf. In the leaf, I told you about structure of a leaf also, where base, petiole and lamina will be present. We have seen about types of leaves also, simple leaf and compound leaf, like that. Now in this continuation, let me tell you about another aspect. We must know what is called phyllotaxy here. Phyllotaxy. Very important, 5-mark question, even 3-mark question can be asked based on phyllotaxy. What is phyllotaxy? Phyllotaxy refers to arrangement of leaves. Arrangement of leaves over the stem of the plant or upon the stem of the plant. Leaves are arranged on stem, but in all the plants there is no similar arrangement. Different plants exhibit different arrangement of leaf over the stem. Those arrangements are together referred as phyllotaxy, we are telling. Just even I told you another word called venation. Arrangement of veins in the lamina is called venation, whereas arrangement of leaves over the stem is called phyllotaxy. Remember, why there must be arrangement of leaves? Because different plants, they will exhibit different phyllotaxy in order to get enough sunlight for photosynthesis. There will be occurrence of, there must be acceptance of sunlight from the environment. For getting the sunlight, enough sunlight, leaves are arranged in different manner actually. So rate of photosynthesis will be increased. Efficiency of photosynthesis will be increased by the plant, in the plant, because of phyllotaxy. What are those three? What are the types of phyllotaxy? Means there are 3 types. Remember, the first type, from the name itself you can understand. The first type is called as alternate type of phyllotaxy. It can be called alternate type of phyllotaxy. Very simple, and you could have come across this type of phyllotaxy in many plants also. In the case of alternate phyllotaxy, one node will have one leaf only. One node will contain one leaf only, means it is called alternate phyllotaxy. This is the stem, these are the nodes. Imagine this node has a leaf here, means there won't be any other leaf on the other side. And the second node will have leaf like this, another leaf in this manner. Third leaf will be present on third node like this. So each node will contain only one leaf. Do you get this point? Each node has one leaf. This is called as what is that? Alternate phyllotaxy, we can see. Very simple in our day-to-day life. Hibiscus we have seen, where we could come across alternate type of phyllotaxy. One node give rise to this type of leaves like this. One node, one leaf only. One petiole, one lamina. I told you. Now it is one node has one leaf only. It may be simple leaf or it may be compound leaf. That is different. This is alternate type. Let us come to another type of phyllotaxy here. Second type. Opposite phyllotaxy, it can be called. From the name itself, you can understand this point also. Opposite phyllotaxy. In opposite phyllotaxy, we could come across 2 types again. Please listen. In some plants, the node will be like this, the stem will be like this with nodes here. If each node bears 2 opposite leaves, then it is called the opposite phyllotaxy. Each node has two opposite leaves. Each node has two opposite leaves means. Then we will call it as, what is that? Opposite phyllotaxy. There can be further two types. Suppose imagine all the nodes are having two leaves facing the same direction. Imagine this is one node with two leaves like this, facing east and west. Second node will also be having two leaves facing east and west, like the same thing only. So the two leaves are present, but they are in same direction, otherwise opposite direction, I'm sorry, but they are in opposite direction. Then it is called opposite superposed type of phyllotaxy, it can be called. Opposite superposed, facing opposite each other, okay, on the same directions, opposite directions. Okay, this is opposite superposed. Example for this is guava plant. Peru, we are telling now that Peru plant, it has got opposite phyllotaxy. Let me come to another opposite variety. Here also the stem will be like this, with nodes and internode. Suppose in this case there is a change. If first node is exhibiting leaves, two leaves facing east and west. Imagine this is east, this is west. Second node will be exhibiting two leaves facing north and south. Do you get my point? Here one leaf, that side another leaf, like this. Again third node, east and west. Fourth node, north and south. Like this, they are in different direction. Do you understand the difference between these two? Here the leaves will be facing the same direction at one side. Here first node will be different from second node. If first node has got leaves east and west, second node will have leaves north and south. Again east and west, north and south. Like that they will be arranged. Such a variety is known as opposite decussate type of leaf, it can be called. Both of them are opposite only because each node has got how many leaves? Two opposite leaves. Here also two opposite leaves, here also two opposite leaves. But their direction differs. Best example is calotropis, you may be remembering. ಎಕ್ಕೆ ಗಿಡ ಅಂತ ಅಂತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಎಕ್ಕೆ ಗಿಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ತರ opposite decussate type is there. Milkweed it is called. If you break the leaf from those plants, you will get milk like white secretion. That milkweed is calotropis, it is exhibiting opposite decussate type. Okay, this is second type. There is a third type of phyllotaxy we have to remember, very simple. World phyllotaxy, it can be called. World phyllotaxy. What is meant by world? The word world refers to circle. Okay, WHORLED, not WORLD. It is world phyllotaxy. Circle of leaves are produced on each row. Remember the diagram here? This is the stem with nodes, internodes like this. In each node, many leaves are produced in a circular manner. This is one leaf, second, third, fourth, like this. Here also 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. So many leaves. In world phyllotaxy, each node has many leaves in circle. That is called world phyllotaxy. Do you understand this point? This is the type called world phyllotaxy. Remember, this is also found in some of the angiosperms actually. So make note of this phyllotaxy. Alternate, opposite, and world type. In opposite there are two types, superposed and decussate, like that. Of course in your textbook two diagrams are given, but they did not use the word superposed and decussate here. Remember, superposed is exhibited by Govan and decussate is exhibited by Calotropis. Remember this point. So students, this is regarding what are the opposite type we can see. Please make note of this. We will continue. This world phyllotaxy, I didn't tell you example. Some of the hydrophytes, including Eichhornia like, they have this phyllotaxy, where circular arrangement of leaves will be present. Okay? Some hydrophytes. Okay, students, let me continue with another aspect related to leaf. In leaf, we have seen venation, we have seen types of leaves, and we saw about phyllotaxy also. Arrangement of leaf over the stem is called phyllotaxy, whereas arrangement of veins over the lamina is called venation. In this leaf, another aspect we are going to discuss here is about modifications of leaf. We are going to discuss here. Modifications. Already I told you, root and stem can undergo modification in order to perform some extra function or additional functions. And in order to adapt with the environment, they have to undergo some morphological changes. Those morphological changes are called modification. Similarly, in leaf also we can come across some modification. Main function of the leaf is photosynthesis, you may be remembering. In addition to performing photosynthesis, leaf can undergo some more changes also. Some more function they may be performed. For example, apart from photosynthesis, they are able to perform some functions, extra functions. For example, there are some leaves which will be producing tendrils in them. Leaf tendrils are possible in some plants. Remember this point. You know what are stem tendrils? Passiflora like that. The stem will produce coiled structure, that is called tendril. Similarly, in some plants, even including like what the pea plant and pulses, some of the pulses and all, we could come across leaf tendrils, remember. So, for drawing the leaf tendril, imagine this is the stem, this is the leaf, here means the tip of the leaf may be modified into some coiled structure, spring-like structure, that is called leaf tendril. Why they must produce leaf tendril? What is the structure, function of leaf tendril? Means it is meant for, again, support only. Tendrils are meant for support, for holding the support and growing further. Where do you find this leaf tendril means? In some plants like Gloriosa. Gloriosa superba, that is one plant which is having the leaf tendril, modified tendrils here. The tendrils are meant for support and they are meant for climbing also. In stem also we came across tendrils, in leaf also there are tendrils. So leaf tip will be modified into tendril. In some cases, even petiole will become coiled and help for support also. Petiole, stalk of the leaf. Okay. Second type of modification in the leaf we have to understand here. They are called as leaf thorns. Just like a stem thorn, here also we can come across leaf thorns also. Already we have seen about this one. In plants like cactus, cactus is nothing but a xerophyte, remember. What is a xerophyte? The plant which lives in desert. In desert living plants like cactus and opuntia, the stem will become green in color like this, but leaf will become thorn-like structures here. Do you get my point? This is the leaf. This is the stem of the plant. In phylloclad, I told you the same point. In phylloclad also same modification, but that is stem purpose. Purpose of stem we have studied. Here I am talking the same example for the purpose of leaf. What happened here to the leaf? They have become thorn-like structure. Why? What is the advantage of leaf thorn? Already we have seen leaf thorns will be helping for reducing transpiration. Do you remember that point? In a desert, availability of water is less. So they should not lose water. For reducing the rate of transpiration. What is transpiration? Loss of water in the form of water vapor. That vapor loss will be minimized by leaf thorn. When leaf becomes thorn, they will minimize rate of transpiration. Not only this one, those leaf thorns are helpful for protection from grazing animals also. I told you rose and what is that? Bougainvillea, their stem thorns are present. But in cactus, we come across leaf thorns. Do you get this point? That is second type of modification we can see. Leaf tendril, leaf thorns like that. I can tell you about the third type of modification also here. Leaf modification, the third type we can say. There is a condition in some plants like phyllodes. The three terminologies, phyllodes, phylloklad, cladode and phyllodes. Phylloklad we have seen already. Cladode we have seen already. Now I am telling you about phyllodes. Phylloklad and cladode studied under stem modification. You may remember. This is the phylloklad also. The same diagram, same example we have seen for phylloklad, where stem will be performing photosynthesis. Stem will be doing the work of photosynthesis. What is the difference with the phyllodes means? Please listen carefully. In some plants like acacia, petiole will do the function of the photosynthesis. Imagine this is the stem. Here the petiole will become green and flat color like this. Leaf will become modified structure, a thorn-like structure. So this is petiole and this is becoming green in color. It will undergo photosynthesis. So when petiole perform the function of leaf, it is called a phyllodes. When a stem perform the function of leaf, it is called a phylloklad. Cactus or opuntia. Single internode of phylloklad is called a cladode. Asparagus, I told you. Now remember this point. Phyllodes is found in acacia. Petiole is performing the function of leaf and it will become green in color. What is petiole? Stalk of the leaf. Stalk of the leaf is called petiole. That will become widened and that will become green in color. That will undergo photosynthesis. Okay, that is the third important type of leaf modification. Dear students, we can remember another important aspect of leaf modification here. The fourth one is related to insectivorous plants. Remember, insectivorous plants or insectivorous leaves, we can say. You know, in lower classes you might have studied about pitcher plant. There is a plant called pitcher plant. It is otherwise known, biologically called as Nepenthes. You may be remembering. In the plants like Nepenthes or pitcher plant, the leaf will not undergo photosynthesis. They will be developed into urn, otherwise what is that? Some vessel shaped structure. Imagine this the node, the leaf will become a vessel like structure like this. It will have a lid also here. This is the leaf. Remember, this leaf will not be green in color. They will become somewhat brownish. They are catching the insects or flies coming near them. They will eat the insect. They are carnivorous plants, we are telling you. Carnivorous means what? They are not autotrophs, they are heterotrophs. They do carnivorous work. They trap the flies here. That is called a pitcher plant. Example, Nepenthes, remember. Even there are some plants like Drosera. Here also we can come across leaf modification for the sake of nutrition. In addition to photosynthesis, these are all different other functions. Tendrils are meant for support and climbing. Example, Gloriosa. Thorns are meant for transpiration and protection. Example, cactus and xerophyte. In xerophyte, water should be conserved. Water should be retained. It should not be lost by transpiration. So to reduce the rate of transpiration, there is a leaf thorns. Leaf are modified into thorn-like structure. Let us come to phyllodes. Phyllodes, phylloticlade and cladode. Remember the difference. Phyllodes refers to petiole becoming green in color and undergoing photosynthesis. Here lamina does not become green in color. Lamina will be reduced, but petiole will do the work of leaf. If petiole does the work of leaf, it is called a phyllodes. If a stem does the work of leaf, it is called a phyllocyclade. Single internode of the phyllocyclade is called a cladode. You may remember the example also. Phyllocyclade, I told you Opuntia, same thing. Cladode, I told you asparagus. Phyllodes, you have to remember acacia, like that. And apart from these four things, there is a fifth type of modification also. Some of the leaves can undergo vegetative propagation also. Vegetative propagation. That means they can produce another plant by themselves. Usually new plant will arise from seed by sexual reproduction. But in some plants, leaf will give rise to new plant. The leaf will fall down. Imagine the leaf will be like this. When it falls down into the soil, it will germinate into a new plant in this manner. If a leaf becomes a new plant, that is called vegetative propagation. What is the example for that? Bryophyllum. You might have heard Bryophyllum. Bryophyllum is the example for vegetative propagation. Remember this point. So, 5 types of modification in the leaf. Leaf tendril, leaf thorns, phyllodes, insectivorous plant and vegetative propagation. For tendril, gloriosa. For thorns, cactus. For phyllodes, acacia. For a pitcher plant, insectivorous plant, Nepenthes. They will eat insect. Why they should trap insect? Why they should eat insect? In order to get nitrogen content. Because they cannot undergo photosynthesis. To get protein, they will eat insect. They become carnivorous plant. Plants are, what is that? Autotrophs. But here they become heterotrophs actually. Vegetative propagation can be seen in the case of bryophyllum, where leaf will produce new plant without a sexual reproduction. Let me stop with this in this class. With this we have completed about leaf. So dear students, root, stem and leaf. These three morphological structures we have completed. Let us go for flower in the next class. Okay. Let me stop with this. Thank you.